We're going to talk about this today. XCN. It's cryptocurrency. A lot of you probably have heard about it. A lot of you probably own it. There are people that are selling XRP. I know this specifically. I'm going to talk about specific people selling XRP to buy XCN. I'm going to dispel, for the lack of better terms, a bunch of myths about me and what I do for a living. And we're going to talk about XCN because there's some pretty awesome news that is coming out. If you own XCN, do me a favor and type XCN down below. And if you own XRP, please do me a favor and type that down below. Let's get these algorithms fired up. All right, so last week, I went to my DeFi Pro monthly coaching call with my students that paid to have me walk them through once a month what's going on in the crypto markets. And I've been very quiet about XCN. About a month ago, I think was my last video, or 3 weeks ago on XCN, and it started to trend down. I told people at the exact top, we're going to edit a nice video showing the charts, the days, timestamps. At the very top, when it was it 4 cents, 5 cents, something like that, when Justin Sun came out, I said, this is bad news. And I got tons of hate from the XCN community. I said, this is not good news. I don't like this. I'm pulling 30% off the table. I had already pulled 20%, and I told the channel and I told my DeFi students a little prior to that, gave them time to make their educated decisions because it's a trade group, right? And that was the peak. I, through this entire time, held 50% of my original position, meaning that was including profit. So there was no pump and dump. I just talked about it and why I liked it. And there's actually a lot of good news. Well, this market turned. And then I got a lot of hate from XRP community because I sold half of my XRP because amazing news had come out about XRP and Ripple as well, but the market wasn't digesting it well. And this is after, the president talked about it and all this stuff. I could see the downturn coming. I warned everyone on the channel. Type 1 if you remember me warning, hey, there's a downturn coming in crypto. And I believe a downturn in stocks, and it could get pretty messy. And all I did is stay quiet. I took my cash and I slowly started to layer in when prices on altcoins had collapsed. And they did. They had, no joke, collapsed like 80%. And I myself, along with some other savvy individuals that I know that are very intelligent, very well off because they know how to invest, had sold a position of their XRP as well and started to layer in. Last week, I did my monthly coaching call about onyxcoin. And I told my students, I said, look, there's 2 scenarios that can happen. We're going to clip this up so you guys can see what our coaching call looks like too and see what I said. I told my coaching, as if there's any coaching students in there, can you type me? I'm just curious if any of you guys are part of my DeFi coaching course. I said, look, I'm going to take the allotment that I have for XCN. I'm going to start to buy at 2 different price points between 009 and 008. And then I'm going to take half my money and buy at those price ranges. And then and I said, if you want to layer in at like the mid to high 7s, that's great. I had one go through at 0078, one buy order. And I said, oh, the rest of the money is going to be held for half a cent. Because if the trade war gets worse, that's where it's headed. I said, however, and I've said this many times on this channel, Trump at any point is the wild card and can pull a rabbit out of the hat, and all of a sudden the markets take off. So I said I would start layering in. So in the last week, my DeFi students are up in the over 90% in 1 week. So I'm going to throw this out real quick. I'm going to do a limited time offer for the entire package. If you want monthly group coaching calls until next December, you want the trade picks that me and Dylan are investing in and us explaining why, and you want the DeFi Pro course to learn how to invest in decentralized finance, blockchain projects and all that kind of stuff, how to stake and all that kind of stuff, the link's down below. But this is only for serious people. So as of right now, you can see today XCN's up like 50%, I want to say, right? This story out of CoinSpeaker says it well. onyxcoin jumps 30%. This was last night it came out. It's up a lot higher now. Amid market recovery, analysts see 3-time surge. It says XCN has jumped over 30% in 1 day, and it was one of the most trending coins in the last 24 hours. I think it made number 4 on CoinMarketCap. There's a lot of pressure in XCN. There's a lot of people that have invested or holding XCN, people that bought at higher prices, and they don't want to sell until it's in the green, right? Or in the black. It says here the token broke free from a range bound of 008 to 01. So that's exactly where I told my DeFi students I would be buying. I can't give financial advice, but I think they all went and did the same thing. Onyx, it says earlier in the week, after President Trump's tariff policy rattled macroeconomic sentiment, pulling risk assets, including altcoins, down. Notably, for the past 10 days, the token XCN hovered between 008 and 1 in that price band. Despite the downturn, large XCN holders avoided panic selling. Like myself, I did not. On-chain data revealed this suggests growing confidence in the token's underlying fundamentals. This is one of the fundamentals I talked about with my students. There are so many people that own XCN. And if you look at the XCN rich list, it really tells you a lot of the structure. I'm not going to get into it now, but it tells you the emotional structure of the investors, the mindset based on where the wallets are, how big they are, or how small they are, and how they move around. I told everyone at $2.20, I sold half my XRP. I took the brunt of the hate, and look where we are now. Even with the price recovery, XRP, I think as of the recording of this, is $1.95. So it's down, what, 10%, a little over 10%, even with the current recovery. It was actually down, I think, 22 to 25% since I made that call and said, hey, guys, I sold my XRP, half of it. And I started to deploy it in something that now I'm up 90% in. I've said for a long time, and I get a lot of comments lately, you sound really, full of yourself. Please don't mistake in confidence because of experience with cockiness or, all that stuff, being full of yourself. I've said for years, there's going to be some things about the Ninja that are going to come out. And the truth is, Ninja Nation, everyone that watches that is subscribed to the channel, is incredibly powerful because together, this is, I believe, the largest group of intelligent people in the world. If you're part of Ninja Nation, do me a favor and type 10. These are people around the world that are very successful. No matter what your wages are, how high or low, or your net worth, you have a different type of mindset. You started watching some silly guy doing videos in his car or with cardboard or sitting on a tricycle because you understood that between the lines, you read between the lines, and you didn't need fancy fluff. You didn't need me driving around in a Lamborghini to listen and pay attention. You didn't need fancy clothes or any of that stuff. See, that sets you apart from the rest of the world. And Ninja Nation is the largest group of intelligent, I want to say mellow-minded investors that I know of. Mellow-minded, people that are not rattled or shaken. They're not led by their emotions. They're led by their knowledge, skills, and ability. And every day, each one of you are growing and gaining more of those. Now let's dive back into XCN because I believe that you're going to see the next run leg up for XCN. And I'm very excited about it. I have put most of the cash that I had from the XRP sale into it. The only reason it's over half now of my XRP sale money is in XCN. It is now my largest position as of now. When I start to take profits, I'll let my monthly coaching call guys, people know so that they can make an informed decision. Then I'll let you know on the channel. They paid for that information ahead of time. End of story. That's how the world works. If you don't like that, I just go. You got to find a channel with cats because that'll make you feel better. It says on the daily price chart. Now, this is something else I want you to realize. There are these YouTube channels that are starting to pick up on XCN and they're starting to talk about it. And I have a feeling in the next 5 days, there are a bunch of other YouTubers that are going to start talking about it. Okay. So I know people like to say, oh, the Ninja's talking about something now that it's pumping. I hate to tell you. You know what? I don't care what those people think anyway, so it just doesn't matter. But you're going to see a lot more coverage, I think, on XCN. And the truth is, if the onyxcoin team does half of what they're talking about between liquid staking, the Goliath, the new mainnet, all these different things that they're looking at doing. They got a new white paper, I believe, coming out about Goliath. I have a feeling soon. this will blow up on a percentage basis compared to XRP. So I'm going to make a call, okay? I'm not a financial advisor, financial professional, but I want you to type 11 if you agree with this statement. I believe that onyxcoin will 5x, so it'll go up, what, 500% faster than XRP will go up 500%, meaning that you will probably see XCN at 5 cents before you see XRP at 10 bucks. If you agree with that, type 11. There's a lot of easy things to it's almost a no-brainer, but you can't say that in finance, right? So none of this is financial advice. I'm gonna do those videos in cars. If you take advice from a YouTuber, then maybe you need to have your head checked. Sense sarcasm, but you know what I'm saying. When I first invested in XRP, the market cap was about $380 million. I don't know what XCN's is right now. Can you guys type it down below? Do you know what XCN's market cap is? You can look at that. I got my son here. We're going to work on a house today. That's why all the tools are in the back. So I'm pretty sure XCN like a day ago was about that price. It was the second highest percentage gainer yesterday in the world of any coin during this pump. I want you to understand that's a big deal, right? What is it? 179? No, that's volume. 467 million. Okay, the market cap. Thank you. So the only thing that I think led it was Fartcoin, and you have to realize how stupid. There are a lot of stupid investors out there. Would you agree? Type yes or no if you think there are a lot of stupid investors. As a matter of fact, I got to show you this. This was incredible. Warren Buffett came out. I got a video clip of it saying that he believes that most investors lack the intelligence and the wherewithal to invest in stocks. And I have to be honest with you, I completely agree with that. Type yes or no if you agree with that. Most human beings are so emotionally led. That is what leads them. And I was that kind of person, emotionally led that would, I'd buy something, it would go down, I'd freak out and I'd sell it. And then it would go back up and I'd buy it. And before you know it, I'd lose my money. I learned that lesson the hard way 25 years ago, so that you don't have to. And but most people are led by their emotions, and they should not be investing in stocks or cryptocurrency. That's why we put out those courses in the first place. By the way, if you want, massive sale right now on the entire DeFi Pro package. So if you want the trade picks coming out, you want to know first what me and Dylan are investing in. Do you want to know? And monthly coaching calls, group coaching calls, which I'll put on like updates. Hey guys, I'm pulling a little bit in profits. I'm looking at this coin, all that kind of stuff. You all want that? It's one price. It's down below. And but my point being is that there are people that aren't that intelligent. So that's just the truth. Okay, some people you just got to pull the jar of paste away from them because they're going to eat it if you let them sit with it long enough. Just like so, please understand that I'm going to start covering the XCN story, and there's actually a lot of news about them that's gone a little buried and not covered well. The Economic Ninja, have taken half of my XRP money and deployed most of that, like 65-70% of that now, because it's all I could get, because that's another thing at 0.008, 009, nobody wanted to sell. I'd have to run my prices up, 3-4% just to be able to get an order to close. And, that's just where we are. And that's why I've seen a couple of pumps that I wasn't involved in where the volume started to take off on XCN. No news, nothing. And it was just people sitting back waiting for a trade alert, and then they're in there buying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much emotion behind this token. And the one thing that I will give Chain.com and XCN, the Onyx team, credit for is they're pretty good about putting out updates on X and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to let you guys go. Let's see if I'm right. I could be totally wrong, but I think that XCN, my opinion, type yes or no if you agree, will 5x in price from 008 to what is that? 4.43, 4.5. Or it'll go to 5 cents, I believe, before XRP goes to 10 bucks. So I don't like it when people are wishy-washy and they're riding both sides of the fence. Well, 80% of the time it does this. 80% of the time it does that. Cool. That copy. Okay, you got to pick a side. So I picked a side. I sold half my XRP, bought XCN. Let's see where this thing goes. I'm excited. If you're excited, type XCN down below. I hope you have a great day. Now I'm going to switch over to X, and I'm going to let everybody know on X what I just did, so we can timestamp this and finally start seeing the people that are right and the people that are wrong and separating them on these social media platforms, because it's really ticking me off. And I got a lot of footage I'm going to start editing it up in the future, because it's gonna show people. Anyway, have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.